time now also to announce to the countrymen. And then the Independence Day was going to happen a few months, a few weeks later, so all of us decided and promised each other to maintain a guarded religious silence so that we could have the announcement done by the Prime Minister of India from the ramparts of Red Fort, because you know what it means when the Prime Minister himself announces. And I think that was the first momentous occasion for each one of us associated with this role when we heard the Prime Minister on the Independence Day of 2018 declaring to the nation that we are now ready to send an Indian into the space. And thereafter this entire process started. We had the 4 potential astronauts. Just when I was talking to you about it, we started their training. Then suddenly the imponderables happened. The COVID struck us. They were there in Moscow at that time. They were going to do the got to get back, the lockdown. So everything got very. Actually, we had very ambitiously planned it to have this first human mission coinciding with the 75th year of India's independence. But then since everything went haywire, so it did not materialize. And then, of course, when the training was almost complete, the Indian module, the Russian module, then this happened. The suggestion that we could have an Indian astronaut, and that happened when Prime Minister Modi was on a mission visit to DC and having parleyed with President Biden. And the first thing I told the then chairman, I said, okay, now you don't take it just on his face, it's a recognition of the Indian talent. Now we are being solicited because they know the value of our contribution. So our collaboration has now reached an equal level. So we are collaborating at an equal platform. And then of course Prashant and Subhashu were there. So when you try to seek answers why it didn't happen, as Narayana was saying, we were just almost 1 digit or 0 startups, 4, 5 years back. Today we have more than 300. What also I think we should have mentioned is that our space economy was almost dismal, not even worth mentioning. Today we are $8 billion, and the manner in which we are progressing, our projections indicate that in just next 8 to 10 years we will be going up nearly 5 times, maybe $45 billion. Otherwise means that as we move on from economy number 4 to 3, 2, 1, space component is going to be a major value addition to the future economy growth. And as I've always said, that when you scientifically think how the economy is going to grow from where we are, it is going to happen from the unexplored or the underexplored sectors, which were there but were not in the process. One of them is space, the other is the oceans, which also we have started deep ocean, which I'm not going to talk about it right now. Now, I think the biggest turning point was when the Prime Minister agreed to open up the space sector to the private sector. And some of the media friends very fancifully and very beautifully reported the Prime Minister Modi has unlocked India's space. And I said it is the unlocking of the Sriharikota gate, because only 10 people would sit there and do the launching. The first time I went, Dr. Radhakrishnan was there in the middle of night, about 3 o'clock. He said, I take you to a place where no, even my scientists are not allowed to go because such a prohibited space. And then it was about 1:30. I said, Radha, I try to learn one new thing each day. What I learned today is that one should be either as an eminent scientist as you are, or somehow manage to become minister in the Department of Space and Nature. But then why this restriction? And I'm glad the Honorable Prime Minister allowed us to do this today. At any point of time, we have 15 to 20,000 people watching the launching, and we have created a separate exclusive space zone for the media persons. We have on average 1,000-1,500. So this opening up gave us a lot of enthusiasm. It also gave us, it was, and the private sector, the private boys and girls who came in as startups, they not only gained out economically, financially, some of them are now thinking lucrative entrepreneurs, but they also added value knowledge-wise. They came with a lot of new ideas. Why I'm saying so that these are lesser known facts, lesser reports. When the Skyroot was launched, the first one, I noticed a small gadget there on the rocket. I didn't know. I asked the chairman, I said, what is this? He said, I can't figure out. I said, the chairman can't figure out, who else would? So I said, let's call the boys. When we called the boys, they said, sir, when you send a rocket up, the Doordarshan catches from the ground. We have put a camera on the top. So they were actually coming with new ideas. And that's how the growth has gained momentum. Otherwise, there was never a dearth of talent. You've seen those pictures of But one more thing I wish to add, because there are some cynics, they say, what are you going to gain out of this? On the one hand, our space missions are much cost effective compared to the counterpart mission president. Over here, we just spent about 500 to 600 crores even in this mission. And it was one of the most beautiful examples of the public-private participation, four parties. Our Chandrayaan was just about 600, not even 1/3 or 1/4 of what the other counterpart missions. But even more importantly, more than just sending up rockets, we are into other sectors for the ease of living of the common citizens, the infrastructure sector. Our work as far as space technology is concerned is of a much more volume in other sectors. Like for example, Gati Shakti has become now a global model for development. Our Swamitul program, the drones and space technology get together to map out the land. So you make the citizen the master of his destiny. He doesn't have to depend on the Patwari or the revenue officer. Our telemedicine, our health, flood disaster information is being shared by all the neighboring countries. Geo-Manrega, housing, our Amrit program, our smart city program, the agriculture sector, and most of all the defense sectors. The entire warfare that happened during Operation Sindoor was a combination of space technology and the Department of Atomic Energy. And all the technology was adopted in the last 10-11 years. So this was the Operation Sindoor gave us an opportunity to test our capabilities on the Pakistani soil incidentally. So all this you can understand, we are confined because seeing the rocket going up and then talking to somebody sitting over there sounds a little more romantic, and actually so. But otherwise, we are in a much bigger way contributing. I would rather say space technology has entered every Indian household today. Now, what was special about the Axiom mission is, from our point of view, also from the government point of view, also from the point of view of the dispensation that is laying down the policies today. I think in a single mission, our astronauts have lived up to 3 or 4 flagship mantras which Prime Minister Modi has been constantly practicing, propagating over the last nearly 12 years ever since he's been at the head. A, indigenous, Atmanirbhar Bharat. The astronauts were Indians, and that too from the proud Indian Air Force. The entire technology which they got, the kits that they carried for the experiments were developed by the Indian resources, none of them from outside. And of course, same is going to happen with the Gaganyaan as well. So that is living up to Atmanirbhar now. The second, these kits were developed by different departments. One was, of course, Department of Biotechnology. You will be happy to know that we have entered into a formal MOU between the Department of Biotechnology and the Department of Space. Somebody asked me, what is the idea? I said, one day we'll have a space physician. In fact, I must compliment Sumanshu. The experiments that he conducted were actually meant for a biotechnologist to do. But he proved to be a very good learner and did them as because we couldn't have sent a biotechnologist there without getting acclimatized to the space. But one day that will happen. So we have learning from this experience, this episode, we have actually started doing that. And we have the contribution from the IIT, so the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. So the second mantra, whole of government and whole of nation approach. And thirdly, most importantly, the experiments conducted out there in space, whether they're life sciences, whether they're myogenesis, etc., which will of course not only be benefit only in space but also have application on the earth. The experiments have been conducted by an Indian, but the benefit is going to be to the entire mankind, which means we have now set the first sterling example of Vishwa Bandhu Bharat, which Prime Minister keeps saying. So in the outcome, some people ask, of course, it has given India capability, esteem, confidence, and world also the confidence of larger scale collaborations. Of course, as I was saying, docking for the next mission for Bharat Service Station and later on the